By his own admission, Al Pacino wasn't sure how to approach his role as Michael Corleone in The Godfather, so he decided to turn to a real-life mobster for some assistance. Co-star Alfredo Lettieri, who plays violent drug dealer Virgil Sollozzo in the film, set up a meeting for him and Pacino to have dinner at the home of a real mafioso. Pacino has left it unsaid which crime family his and Lettieri's mob contact was from, but reflecting in his memoir Sonny Boy, that meeting let Pacino see a respectable front. The mafioso was allegedly very welcoming and, quote, looked like a normal businessman, had a wife and 2 grown children, and their household appeared to be a normal, loving American home. As Pacino wrote, I was being given a taste of how this thing looked and operated in reality, not how it was shown in the movies. He wasn't given any details into how the mafia operated, but he did absorb the atmosphere and got a look at a real gun, brandished by Lettieri in the midst of the men drinking and playing games. Pacino wrote, many moons later, photos from that night surfaced showing me in a sweatshirt laughing away with a drink in my hand while little Al showed me a gun, a boys' night out. Mario Puzo, writer of the crime novel The Godfather, has admitted that he himself never had any contact with the real American mafia. His model for Don Corleone, the gangster patriarch of the work, was his own mother. When production of the film adaptation of his book got underway, Puzo's advice to director Francis Ford Coppola was to never associate with anyone from organized crime. Coppola didn't need to be told twice. He told Condé Nast Traveler in 2014, it's romantic and stuff, but they're horrible murderers, and who wants to know a horrible murderer? I don't.
What do you think this is, the army where you shoot them a mile away? You gotta get up close like this, and bada bing, you blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
But like Pacino, not everyone involved in The Godfather had the same hesitancy when it came to the mafia. Producer Al Ruddy's efforts to win over initially hostile mobsters resulted in a script change and inspired a Paramount Plus show decades later. But where Ruddy had to work with the criminal organization to get the film made safely, some of the cast sought out underworld figures to help them shape their characters. James Caan was friends with the eventual boss of the Colombo Mafia family and hung out with other Colombo figures during filming. Gianni Russo claimed to have lifelong ties to figures in 3 different mafia clans. And Luca Brasi's actor, Lenny Montana, was a one-time enforcer for the Colombos. The relatively heavy presence of the Colombos in the production of The Godfather was partially coincidence and partially due to Joe Colombo. The reigning head of the family at the time the movie was made raised the biggest stink about the film's production, and was the mob boss producer Al Ruddy had to pacify. Once they were placated, mafiosi began turning up on the set, either to watch quietly or to offer unsolicited critiques of the actors' clothes and mannerisms. Once the movie was out, however, life began imitating art. Besides being a hit nationwide, The Godfather was a treasured gem of cinema by many mafioso, who looked to it as affirmation and inspiration. As reporter Selwyn Robb wrote in his book, The 5 Families, federal and local investigators on surveillance duty saw and heard made men and wannabes imitating the mannerisms and language of the screen gangsters. The film validated their lifestyles and decisions to join the mob and accept its credo. That Pacino was cast at all in The Godfather was a minor miracle. Coppola had to fight the studio to cast him, a fight he briefly lost, then had to fight again to keep him. Pacino himself was well aware that he wasn't wanted, which didn't help his anxieties over how to play Michael Corleone. All the mental anguish over the role more than likely played a factor in his deciding to get an up-close and personal look at a small portion of the mafia world.